Hi there, welcome to Deep Dives with Dan. My name's Dan. Today, we are going to look at how churches almost seem to excel at keeping people away from the healing power and love of Jesus. We are going to look at a sermon by the Reverend Louise Samuelson. She is a minister at a church called St. John the Divine in Houston, Texas. Louise Samuelson is pretty cool. She might have a shawl on, but underneath that shawl, no sleeves. Gun show every Sunday.
In our gospel reading from Mark today, Jesus goes back home. He's been out and about sharing kingdom good news and healing everywhere he went. He's been displaying that the kingdom he is bringing about is setting people free from the bondage that oppresses them.
Woo! There's nothing I like hearing people talk about more than the kingdom of God. Well, when Jesus was going out doing his thing, he was going out and he wasn't telling people to basically not do things and doing the whole sin management thing. Don't do this, don't do that. He was basically telling people, hey, the kingdom of God is at hand. The way things God originally meant them to be, where we're not in bondage to stupid stuff, where we treat people well, that is at hand. Woo! And everywhere he went, people were like, whoa, that sounds really good. And part of that was that the news would be so good, people would be healed. People that were blind, given their sight, people that couldn't walk, they could walk again. People were being freed from all kinds of things. Part of the kingdom of God is no bad stuff.
He touches lepers. He forgives sins. He heals on the Sabbath. He then names and gathers his disciples, and now he brings this group back to his home. And word gets out that he's there, and he invites those people in as well. People who are hungry for the good news food.
So many cool things about this right now. So here's Jesus. Practices what he preaches, but then he gets some other guys to help him. It's not just about him. But not only did he hang out with his friends, like his inside friends, people were always allowed in, it seems. He brings his friends over to his house, or someone's house, and all of a sudden these other people, it's like, what is the guy with the leprosy doing here? What's that guy doing here? I feel awkward. Not when Jesus is around. People are welcomed in. Not just the people who supposedly get it, but the people who definitely do not get it. I love that. Thanks, Jesus.
But everyone is not happy, are they, with this generosity of Jesus? His family and the religious leaders are upset that he's breaking social and religious conventions. His family thinks he's out of his mind.
Check.
But they only knew Jesus from a human perspective. Maybe their sense of home was being threatened by the scarcity of their own resources.
There are some people that thrive on change. Most people like having things that are set. They like things that are familiar to him. In fact, I would argue that even people that supposedly like change, we can always find something that would make them feel uncomfortable. And one of the things about the religious tradition that Jesus was raised in, Judaism, is that things were set in stone. And to waver from those would be to fall out of favor with the religion. And Jesus really challenged some things that had become normative in his faith tradition. The whole point of Jewish faith was to give people a way of life that would keep them tied to God. The problem is, as the human condition has shown, is that it doesn't matter what instructions we've been given, we are bound to not follow them. And so when we came to that realization, we set up these rules on top of the rules to help us really focus on the rules, to legally be bound and almost worship rules. But in the process of doing that, we forgot what the purpose of the original rules were for. And as a result, we were keeping a lot of people away from God. And when you look at the people that Jesus heals throughout the gospel, there are people that he is actually restoring to fellowship of people with the monotheistic belief in this God Yahweh. It seems subtle, but if you look at everybody he heals, people with skin diseases, people that were outcast because of their sexual practices, people that were just deemed unclean by leprosy or a myriad of things, their ethnic background. Jesus restores them to a fellowship with a faith community that originally, before Jesus was with them, they were pushed away from the very community that they probably would have longed to be a part of.
But the religious leaders had a much more troubling concern. You see, their deep theological issue with Jesus was that he was offending their deep need to remain pure.
Yep. It's a good thing that doesn't go on today, or does it? I can't hear about that, and not just so much worried about our own purity, but oftentimes it feels like our own control, because whoever controls the purity code gets to control the people trying to adhere to the code. And for those people that can adhere to the code, good on you. But for those people that struggle with some types of addiction of any sort, like, oh, you struggle with pornography? Oh, that's too bad. We don't. Liars. People that act a certain way, they're okay. But for people who don't know how to act a certain way, you're on the outside, and we will keep you there until you might possibly be able to achieve our level of purity and come hang with us.
People that are shunned and put away to protect the group identity. And Jesus opposes this theology.
Interesting. Think of all the things, all the shaming, fat shaming, slut shaming, things that have no place in the kingdom of God. That happens. You see it every day. But shame's not supposed to be part of God's kingdom. Wouldn't that be weird? Like you just go up and like there's no shame. You don't have to worry about what your hair looks like I do every day. No self-consciousness, just the ability to look at other people and love them and be loved. That's cool. Man, there's more to the Christian faith than our judgment. Hear that again. There's more to the Christian faith than our judgment. That whole picture of like walking into a room, and because Jesus is there and he's the one you care about, there's no shame. Gosh, I need that. And I know people in my life that need that desperately, but the church, people of God, seem to keep people like that away from Jesus. People that need to feel that there is no shame or no condemnation in Jesus. That's all they're made to feel by us. If you're a church out there and you're watching this, we better be welcoming people, even people that are not like us. There, that's gonna wrap us up for today. Thanks for joining us on Deep Dives with Dan. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and click on the subscribe button. We'd love to have you see these things once they come out, about every fortnight. That's 2 weeks. If you like this, also share it with someone who might like it. And if there's someone that you think that might not like it and you want to get them angry, share it with them too. It helps our view count. Have a good day. That didn't